There are two types of vaccines for pets. Core vaccines are things like rabies and distemper. These are the ones that are recommended by most vets and required by many groomers, boarding facilities. Some homeowners associations may require them. If you have to license or register your pets for any reason, if they go somewhere to a public place with other animals, such as groomers and boarders, these kinds of vaccines, the core vaccines, are going to be required for that stuff. Non-core vaccines are recommended depending on your environment. So there are going to be certain vaccines in different areas, maybe diseases that are more prominent in places that vets would recommend vaccines for those, but not so much in places where they don't see those types of illnesses. I'll start with core vaccines. There are going to be 3 of those. The first one is rabies. It's going to be given every 1 to 3 years depending on the requirements in your local area, as well as the brand of the vaccination. Some brands are only good for a year, while others can be good for up to 3 years. The next vaccine is, they abbreviate it FVRCP. It's 3 core vaccines combined into 1 injection. It is the feline viral rhinotracheitis, and I apologize if I butchered the pronunciation of that, but FRV is the feline herpes virus type 1. It's believed to be responsible for up to 80 to 90% of all infectious upper respiratory diseases in cats. Feline calicivirus, or FCV, is the second one. This virus is a major cause of upper respiratory infections and oral disease in cats. And the third is feline panleukopenia, or FPL. This is an extremely common and very serious virus in cats that causes damage to bone marrow, lymph nodes, and cells lining your cat's intestines. I'm sure you're wondering now when these vaccinations should be given. So if you have your cat from a kitten, and kittens are up to 1 year old, at 6 to 8 weeks, your veterinarian is going to recommend that FVRCP vaccination, as well as feline leukemia. At 10 to 12 weeks, if your cat has had those 2 shots at 6 to 8 weeks, they'll need a booster of each. If they haven't received those first injections, they're going to get the first injection at 10 to 12 weeks. Then at 14 to 16 weeks, if they have gotten the original shots as well as the booster, they're going to be all set on the FVRCP and the feline leukemia. But if they got the first shot at 10 to 12 weeks, then they're going to need the booster at 14 to 16 weeks. And at 14 to 16 weeks, that's also when the rabies shot would be given. 1 year after that initial series of vaccinations is when they're going to get the FVRCP booster as well as a rabies booster. And then with adult or senior cats, and those are going to be 1 year or over, you're going to need any non-core vaccinations that your veterinarian may recommend for your area. And those would probably, most of those are yearly. So at your annual yearly exam, your vet's going to talk about those, and those would be given at that time, at that yearly exam. And every 1 to 3 years, it's every 3 years for indoor cats, every year for indoor-outdoor cats. It's going to be the FVRCP and then the rabies again, according to the state laws and the brand of the rabies vaccination that you get. It could be yearly, it could be up to 3 years. The best thing to do if you're concerned about what vaccinations your cat or kitten needs and when they should be getting them is to consult your veterinarian. When you first adopt an animal, one of the first things that you should do is make an appointment with your vet, whether it's a dog or a cat. And when you go in for that first visit, they'll go over all of that with you, and you can certainly take notes or ask them to write down what vaccinations they're going to be given and when. You can do some research on your own and ask any questions that you may have at that time.